Hi there, it's Jason, and welcome to my very first European forecast video here on the YouTube. Thanks very much if you've already subscribed to the channel. This is my first attempt at doing some screen sharing, sorry. Yes, I've been at it for a while. It's 1:30 and I've been attempting these videos since first thing this morning. Probably before you were out your bed. So I'm going to give it another go and see how we got on. And you learn as you go on. I can't run for any more than 15 minutes. And some of the videos, the screen sharing just did not happen. It's been fun in here, I can tell you. Sit back, relax. I'll be about 14 minutes or slightly less and letting you know all about the trends for Europe. And of course, that's running up to Christmas time. I'm going to use some data from the ECMWF. They've got an amazing website, and the data extends out to 6 weeks. So it's a medium range forecast, and really it's going for the trends. So I'm not picking out like Christmas Day will be like that, but we're going to look at the trends with various timestamps over weekly timestamps over a 6-week period. So wish me luck with the screen sharing, and I'm so nervous I can't say it right. Fingers crossed. Okay, there we go. So it's the ECMWF, and what I think we'll do is we'll have a look at slightly different data first. We'll have a little look, I think, at what's going on at the very top of the atmosphere. We'll have a look at the 550 hectopascal charts. So that's right up at the very top of the atmosphere, and it indicates where there may be troughs, which generally create low pressure on the surface, or whether the flow is going to be influenced by high pressure. So our first timestamp, which takes us up to the solstice, shows quite a deep trough of low pressure actually to the southwest of Ireland. The blue colours there, and you can just see the curves there, the little U shape. That's the trough line right in there. So that's looking unsettled. The rest of the European continent is influenced more by high pressure, and that extends into Scandinavia and into the northern latitudes, Iceland and Greenland as well. That's why we had cold weather in the first 10 days of December in western parts of Europe. But actually things are changing quite a lot. And with this pattern, we tend to bring up more of a southerly or southwesterly flow. And the high pressure here also winds rotate from the southeast up the eastern flank of that. So Italy and moving into Central Europe. What we're going to see is the trough in the west introduce more and more unsettled weather for the Mediterranean, I feel, during the next week, with showers, longer spells of rain, or even thunderstorms around. Whereas more central parts of Europe are more settled, and northern Europe as well. This is an interesting chart. This is Christmas week, the 21st until the 28th of December, bank holiday Monday, and you can see the high pressure extending right across the northern latitudes. So we call that northern blocking, and it's stopping low pressures from running in traditionally right across the country. The low pressure now is centred just west of the Bay of Biscay, and it extends down, the trough extends into Spain, Portugal, North Africa. It's also extending into the Balearic Islands and just coming into Italy there. So again, suggesting that the Mediterranean, Western and Central Mediterranean are looking quite unsettled during the Christmas week. There is potential for easterly winds for Northern Europe, okay? Maybe north or maybe east. It may well be south of east for southern parts of Britain, but there is a little potential for a cold snap with that kind of upper atmospheric pattern. Let's see how it evolves into the New Year week. Yep, maintain a little bit of high pressure to the north, centred more towards Scandinavia now. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of a ridge there, you can see that. And the colour blue there, still suggesting a slightly southern tracking jet stream. Although I think it looks as it appears to be settling down in the Mediterranean compared to previous weeks. And when we take it on another week, properly into the middle of January, well, this is reverting back to a milder pattern with the ridge high pressure to the east. Europe's looking very dry, most of the continent's looking dry. However, with low pressure to the west, we're bringing up a southerly flow. So it's going to be mild and it's going to be unsettled if this chart is to be believed. Okay, so that's the upper atmosphere. Let's show you what's going on more down on the surface. These are fabulous charts. This time, high pressure is depicted on the surface as those beautiful purple colours, and low pressure depicted by the turquoisey green colours. You can see the trough we talked about, the low pressure there, and you can see how that unsettled weather extends into the Mediterranean, although there are lighter shades of turquoise round about Greece. So the more intense showers and thunderstorms would be in the western or central Med there. High pressure to the north and over Scandinavia. Running that time scale on into the Christmas week, there you go, the high pressure really building there over Iceland, Greenland and northern Scandinavia. Potential for an easterly at some point. Low pressure generally to the south of the UK, although the blue colours do extend into southern Britain. Western central Mediterranean, France looking unsettled, but not intensely so. Those pale colours indicating that the low pressure isn't as anomalously low as it could possibly be. Looking at the New Year week, and the high pressure over the northern latitudes is beginning to slip down in a southeastwards direction. Look how it's coming down towards the Black Sea there. So I think that's a transitional week. I think that as we approach New Year in the UK and Western Europe, it could be cold. There could be some wintry outbreaks, especially if the Atlantic tries to move into cold air. But I think after New Year, around about there, I think the suggestion is that it's going to get milder, and it's going to become more mixed and unsettled again. Whereas Central Europe, most of Scandinavia is looking very settled. Eastern Europe is looking settled, and there's no particular signal through the Mediterranean, the Eastern Mediterranean, Italy, or through France and into the UK. It looks as if it's lower pressure to the southwest of Spain. So that's a transitional week, if you ask me. And the following week, just confirming what we saw with the 500 millibar anomaly charts, milder weather definitely pushing in. There's low pressure in the northwest Atlantic. Here's the high pressure in the southeast of Europe, the Black Sea, down into Greece and the Aegean. So settled there. I think settled in the central Mediterranean too. But I think there's a breakdown, there's a transition, there's a change happening at this stage. Let's have a look at the temperature anomalies, and then we'll have a little look at precipitation anomalies. So beginning this week and running up until the midwinter's day, you can see warmth over most of Europe actually, yeah, with that high pressure and the low pressure coming in from the Atlantic. So you can see the temperatures in the UK are just a degree, maybe 2 above normal for most parts, but you see the blue colours just to the west of the UK and coming into Ireland just at the end of this period. Moving into Christmas week, interesting. So Scotland, where you see the blue colours in Scotland, the whole of Ireland, northwest England, maybe parts of northern Wales. So there is definitely a potential there for something a little bit colder in the Christmas week. It's too early to say, but there's definitely potential for that. And it looks like any milder conditions have been swept further east into the southeast of Europe. So everything seems to be aligned northeast to southeast. Okay, the New Year week, again, colder to the west of the UK and down the western periphery of Europe. No signal or near normal temperatures for most of Europe, although a cold pool of air in northern Scandinavia and in western Russia. The warmest of the conditions, Greece, the Aegean, Turkey, Italy, and the Black Sea. Just taking you further into January there, and there's that warming trend that we thought would occur earlier on. So finally, let's have a look at precipitation anomalies. And we begin in this first week, running up to the 21st. It's quite interesting to see the northwest of Europe, northwest Scotland and Ireland, being signalled to be drier than normal. And I think that's for later on in this period, say from the 15th onwards. But notice that those orangey colours showing drier conditions than normal, extending into the North Atlantic, Scandinavia, Iceland, Greenland as well, all indicative of high pressure there. That's really what we need to get cold conditions going in the UK. But unfortunately, we're just not in the right place. Things aren't positioned or aligned well enough to allow that to happen in this particular week, maybe more towards the end of the period. You can see it's wetter than average in the southwest of England, Wales, into France, into Spain, and down into Portugal as well, and towards Italy, Eastern Europe, looking a little drier than normal. The Christmas week, again, all that dry, all that orange colour there, that's indicative of the high pressure, the blocking, the potential for cold weather. Notice those little blobs of green there just off the North Sea. I think that's an easterly wind picking up showers, maybe delivering some wintry showers, again, some point, maybe for a day, maybe for a few, over the Christmas week. A little bit of wintry precipitation, even possible in the south, I would say there. Looking quite wet for Portugal, parts of Spain, the Balearics, the central basin of the Mediterranean. Greece looks fairly normal in terms of rainfall, so there will be some around, although drier than normal in the Aegean, Turkey, and up into the Black Sea. So let's have a wee look at the New Year week. Again, a little bit of blocking there, you can see it, but the blocking signal is reducing, isn't it, as we move into this week. But also as the timeframes continue, the signals get weaker, and obviously the forecast becomes much more or less reliable there. So New Year week, near normal signals for most of Europe, still a little bit wetter than normal in the southwest of Europe and into the central Mediterranean, but it does look a little bit less wet. Let's take it one more week forward, and you can see that breakdown. You know, the Atlantic air coming back in the middle of January, high pressure hanging on in central and southeastern Europe there, slightly drier anomalies to average there. Okie dokie. I hope you enjoyed my first forecast. Please let me know what you think of it. If you enjoyed it, if you find it useful, please subscribe to the channel and please give me the thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great month ahead and a really good Christmas when it comes around. Thank you and goodbye.